Hey guys. So I had a knife that was given to me by my friend Nico. It's his mother's knife, and it's a little Benchmade, and it reminded me that there was something. It's a little Benchmade Mel Purdue design. These are not bad little knives. I've sharpened a bunch of these. They're nice and thin, easy to sharpen. Take a pretty good edge. This one's a 154 cm. I've seen them in 20 CV, or not 20 CV, S30V. I mean, penis clip, Benchmade penis clip. Let me move this so I get some better light back here. Maybe I don't think that helped. Move that back again so I can at least see. It's early in the evening, the sun is setting, and the sun is just hitting that back wall back there as it cresting over my house here. It's almost 5 o'clock, about 5:30 actually, because my watch is wrong. I have to set it. But what I was going to say is, I've noticed certain knives, and this is that axis lock that, you know, that Benchmade uses, and any of you that know me know I'm not a fan of Benchmade. There's a couple of their balisongs that are nice, and that's about it. You will not see me. I'm sorry, the Osborne 940. I do like the Osborne Design 940. I would actually buy one of those. But other than that, it's just their balisongs. These aren't bad. It's not something I would buy. It's just, it's a little bit too thin. I can flex that blade with 2 fingers. But what it was, it's the lock. And I've never understood this. Knife makers and watchmakers take and go the exact opposite direction of what your typical engineering thought process would be, which is to take something complex and make it simpler. That's the way that most engineers think. Apparently, knife designers and knife makers and the knife world in general, knife enthusiasts, have got it backwards. They think they should make things more complex, because I don't like the axis lock. I never have. And some people say, oh, well, this and that, it's smooth, and this and the compression lock that Spyderco came out with. In my opinion, now, like I said, my videos are my opinion. To take things and make them as simple as possible is the way to go, because having, you know, like I said, I worked in weapons, shipboard artillery and things like that. Your weapons that are always the most reliable are your least complex. The more you engineer in these complexities, the more chance of failure. A 5-inch gun system on a ship is so complex, and I'm gonna tell you right now, it breaks all the time. All the time. You're constantly working on it. There's constantly something broken. Constantly something that you're having to bypass or fix or something like that. I mean, I don't care how good of a technician and how good your guys are, or your crew doing maintenance on it, you're always going to have issues, because there's so many complexities, so many design, engineering things, so many points that can fail that they are going to. So to eliminate those issues would be, you know, the simplest way. And so, in my opinion, these complex locks that we have, this is a lockback. Pretty simple. Pretty hard to fail. I could draw one out for you and explain it, but basically what you have is, you can kind of see it there. It's a notch. It's like this. Drops in, and then when you push on the back, you lift that arm up, you counter the spring tension in there, and you pretty much have got a knife that's not going to fall shut on your hand unless you have not done your proper care of your knife. This is a knife I would never carry. This was the 50th anniversary of the Naval Ordnance Department in Sasebo, Japan, where I was stationed. I was there for the 50th anniversary, and it says Sasebo Ordnance on it. This is a Zippo, so this isn't something I would ever carry. It's just I had it available to show that. Slip joint knives just use the friction of the spring that's in that spine spring to kind of hold it open. They don't have a notch or anything. There's a flat spot on the back where that spring snaps down on it and holds it in place. Now, everybody's like, oh, well, the knife's gonna snap shut on your hand. Well, why are you pushing on the spine of the knife with your hand in the first place? I do like locking knives because they are safer. And you can do things with a locking knife you can't do with a slip joint, like this. You can make a flipper. Frame lock. As simple as it gets. You basically have taken part of the frame and made it into the lock. You cut out a little area, put some spring tension on it, it drops over, drops in, locks against the interface there at the end of the blade. Oh, what if you're beating on it? Why are you beating on it? This goes back to what I said yesterday, tools and their uses. Why are you pounding on your knife like that? Liner lock, basically the same concept, but instead there's a steel liner in there that a part of it has been cut away. And I should have offered this up too as the giveaway. And it drops in just like frame lock, but it's a separate piece. It's just a liner. I mean, with those 3 types of locks right there, that are really robust. I mean, there have been some modifications to, I'm not gonna lie, Andrew Demko's Triad lock, hands down, best lock out there. But it's also, you know, it's hard to make a flipper with it because there's so much spring tension onto that, and it can be, you know, for somebody with weaker hands, some of those larger knives with Triad lock, you got these, it takes some doing to disengage that lock. So the thing is, why do companies go the wrong direction, go the opposite direction, and make things, instead of making things more simple, they make them more complex? I'm not gonna, this one right here, this axis lock, it's got springs and stuff in it that are in there that, you know, that could break and fail. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't trust an axis lock. I would not trust an axis lock to stay locked. I don't like them. I never have. That's the only reason I don't have an Osborne 940. I'd like one. They're a nice knife, but the fact is, I don't trust the lock on them. Put a frame lock in it. I don't like liner locks, but I'd take a liner lock over a axis lock. Pip Corona was out here. I had his Anthem. I'm gonna tell you right now, that Anthem, he told me what he paid for it because he got it at a hell of a discount. He got it for damn near half the price they're asking for it. And I'm like, hey, okay. And he told me how much it was, and I was like, okay, I guess that's not that bad. It was in like the $200-something range, but he told me that that's not the MSRP or the MAP. He's like, yeah, I got it well under that. He's like, it's a $400-something knife. This is fucking ridiculous. It's not worth $400. It's not. For $400, it better have a lot more going for it than that Anthem. I mean, it's not a bad blade design, but it's a Benchmade. And I've known people that worked at Benchmade and have told me horror stories about Benchmade. And I'm not going to get into it, but I would never own a Benchmade unless it was a Balisong, or if maybe somebody had a 940 at a good price. I'd think about it. Why? Why make it more complex, and why engineer things that aren't as secure? I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I personally think it's crap. Like I said, these are my personal opinions. Don't get all up in arms about me bad-mouthing Benchmade. I'm really not. They've got a good business plan, a business model. It's just not for me. But the question that I'm asking in this video is, why overcomplicate things? The tie lock, that Chris Reeves tie lock, the Hawk lock. I've seen some insane locking mechanisms, and I'm like, but you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why do us knife enthusiasts, and I say that we because that's a lot of us, it's why do we feel the need to have something newer or fancier or something like that that doesn't necessarily do as good a job as something simple like a frame lock? I will take a frame lock over a liner lock, to tell you the truth. And you guys, some people have asked me why. Do you see how much material there is there that can make contact with that, that can marry up with that surface? A liner lock is a much smaller piece of material, and if something were to happen, and over time that's gonna work its way over faster than something that's wider. But the big thing is, if you were to use this knife in a fashion where maybe you were stabbing, it could put that pressure on, it could fail because it's thinner. And the truth about this one is, everybody's like, oh, well, that lock could just disengage. One of the things about a liner lock, or a frame lock, I mean, if you're holding the knife properly, you're maintaining that tension. That blade, that lock bar is gonna have a hard time coming up against your hand if you're holding it the right way. If you're holding it like this, then mispressed, maybe you don't need a knife. This brings up a point I meant to bring us up not too long ago. This is, I talked about Tontos being and that is the proper pronunciation. I say it wrong a lot, but I lived in Japan for a long time, and the A is a soft A, it's Tonto. This is pretty much the same thing. And not that it's two different angles, it's just these cost more for me to sharpen because of the attention that I have to pay to maintaining that all the way through, freehand. Like that. It's not as easy as you'd think. It's an awesome design, I like it, but no, I just see that there's a lot. You're paying for something that's over-engineered, going the wrong direction. You're paying more for it, and it's not as good of an end product if you really want to know the truth, because there's too many points that have been engineered that could fail, that you don't really want. Now, I do have to say that Andrew Demko Triad lock is, like I said before, those cold steel knives with the Triad lock, you're not going to get them to fail, period. To my batoning rant yesterday, I think that my Spartan, that cold steel Spartan with the Triad lock, would probably put up to some batoning. And it's because it's got a really robust handle with steel liners, and it's a thick blade, and it has the Triad lock. Would I baton with it? No. And when I was saying that, picking, I do understand. I think it's Outdoor Channel 55. He's one of my followers. He's got a pretty good channel too. He does freehand sharpening with the Edge Pro stones, just like I do. But he does it on a bench. I do it in my hand. He had said something about, when you're trying to carry a lightweight pack, sometimes you don't want to have to carry a hatchet. I get that, but to the point that I said about my cold steel SRK, well, that would be the knife I would take then. Not some of these other bushcraft knives that you see people trying to do, or a folding knife. I definitely wouldn't try to baton or do wood prep with a folding knife. That's not what it's for. You're asking to ruin a good knife doing it that way. So, if you guys haven't listened to it, there is a podcast out there called Knife Nuts. The first one I listened to was because I was at Fair and Forge the day that they did the third one where they were the guests. I just happened to be there that day, and I found out, I was like, "Oh, you guys are doing a podcast?" So it's a handful of guys. I listened to it. It's pretty interesting. I listened to that one, and then I downloaded the rest of them. I listened to one of them while I was out here last night. I had a couple knives I did. I couldn't sleep, so I came out and I turned the lights on. I did one of my customers, Archbishops, that he sent me that had a nick in it, and I took care of it for him, and then finished it up just now. Like I said, I got home and I just started this, but I just had to go through the last couple stones. I had to hit get my way from 3,000 to 10,000. I finally got tired and went to sleep last night. But yeah, the whole thing that I was getting at is, if it's what you like, that's cool, but how did we go this direction where there's so many off-the-wall locking mechanisms and new things, and there really shouldn't be. There's only so much you can do with a knife. I mean, they're all, a knife is a knife basically, but we get all these crazy designs and people get stuff in their head, and then I just don't see the value added, because all you're doing is, with all that extra machining, you're just costing yourself more. it's a lot of times it just almost feels like a way for a company to charge you more when it's really not any better. So I don't know. This kind of was just, I don't know if this one was even coherent. It's just hot. I've been out in the sun all day today. It might just be heat stroke, but it kind of seems that these gimmicks that companies use to try and make a quick buck when they could easily just, you know, go back to basics and charge you a little bit less, and to stop making penis-shaped pocket clips. I haven't seen a bench made in a while. The Anthem has a penis-shaped pocket clip with chevrons cut in it. So that's it. That's all there is to it, guys. I just wanted to talk about that. Oh, I brought this out. Somebody had asked me how. Somebody asked me in the comments about this when I told you I got screwed on this. How I knew it wasn't a real A-Tour. There's some symptoms, signs and symptoms. Biggest one being the branding down here that it says USA Customs, stainless steel USA Customs, hand forged. When you look that up, there's a whole bunch of just garbage survival knives that they've put out. It's just, you know, is it a horrible knife? No, but what irks the shit out of me is the fact that it is branded as an A-Tour. I'm probably going to take that off, and then I'm going to take off the A-Tour mark on here and then re-ceramic coat this so that it doesn't have any of the markings of the A-Tour. And I'll probably take a Dremel and mark off the A-Tour mark on this. But that's one of those things. If you guys know me, I hate counterfeits. Copies and something that's close to a design, that's different, you know. Like I said, there's only so much you can do with knives, so to take somebody's design and build on that, that's flattery. To out and out copy somebody's shit and put their name on it and sell it as if it's the real deal, that's when it's really horrible. I don't like copies that don't even have the name on it. If it's different enough, you can tell it's not a Mick Strider custom or a Sabenza or something like that, then yeah, then I'm not too bad with that, because that's how people start. They emulate things that they like, and hopefully they work their way to something and are not blatantly copying. So I do need to get you guys off here. I apologize. 17 minutes? Doesn't need to be 17 minutes, but yeah, that's how I knew. It just, all the markings on it, everything about that A-Tour was just a little off. For you, the subscriber that had asked me the question about how I knew. That's it, guys. I gotta make supper and find someplace cool. It's the air going into my little evaporative heater is at 87 degrees at 5 o'clock at night, 5:30 at night, 5:35. So, all right, guys, that is it. I will talk to you guys later. See you next time.